G'day guys and welcome back to another video. In today's video we're going to unbox the DiscoveryOpt ED PRS Gen 2 5-25 by 56 SFIR first focal plane. Holy, that is a mouthful. So I've had a number of DiscoveryOpt scopes on this channel before. I run the 5-30 on my 22-250, which is my long-range varminting gun. That scope is working exceptionally well on that gun, and that was the first scope that DiscoveryOpt had sent me for review. I really liked that scope and I obviously still use it. I think it's actually phenomenal for what it is. And then they reached out to me, you know, about 6 months later, like, hey, we've got a 4-16, do you want to test that out too? And I was like, yeah, you know what, send it along. Your last scope was pretty good. I'll see how you go on this one. They sent that out and I've used that on a few videos. I used that on my 6.5 Creedmoor when I first got that. And so now that scope paired with some Leupold QR2 quick detach rings is actually the scope that I use at work for accuracy testing firearms. Not all the time when you get a firearm into accuracy test do you have a scope with it. We've had people send them back without scopes at all. Also had people send them back with really shit scopes, and you can't obviously verify the accuracy of the firearm if the person's scope is a bit shit. So I use that 4-16 as my verification scope. Is it the best scope out there? Obviously no, it's not the best scope out there. It's a pretty low price point scope. However, it's good enough for me to shoot some pretty bloody good groups when I'm verifying the accuracy of people's firearms. So if I'm using that professionally, then I feel like it's probably going to pass the mark for a lot of you using it recreationally. Now, because I really do like those two scopes and I use them all the time, when it came to doing some more modifications to my 22LR project, I decided that I really wanted to get another DiscoveryOpt for a number of reasons. One, because I wanted to have the same scope or a very similar scope between my 22-250 and my 22 long rifle. Now the reason being is that both those rifles are set up exactly the same. They have the same chassis, the same triggers, you know, the same everything. And I really want to use the 22 not only as a dedicated, you know, small game, but also competition rifle. It also aids as a trainer for my bigger centerfire rifle. Well, that was the main reason why I wanted to get another DiscoveryOpt scope. Another reason is that, you know, the DiscoveryOpt scopes I think are actually really good, and I do actually like them. It's not just a thing like people do where, you know, they just get sent things and they're always championing that company because they always get sent free stuff, which obviously that does happen a lot on YouTube, and if you think it doesn't, then you really need to open your eyes to how content creators work. But I genuinely like the product, so that's why I reached out to DiscoveryOpt and said, hey, look, I know you guys have sent me a couple of scopes in the past. All good, if you want to turn me down, I'll just go and buy it. But this is what I'm doing. I'm doing a 22 long rifle competition gun, and I really want to use one of your scopes. And, you know, I wasn't really thinking about this scope. I was trying to get a 5-30 like what's on my 22-50, so I would have the exact same scope. But then obviously, you know, you run into the thing of like, well, are they really going to send me two of the same scope? Because in a marketing perspective, and that's why companies do send out free products, they all need to get something out of it, right? So are they going to get any more content out of me if they send me the same scope again? No, they're not. So they said, hey, we won't send you that one, but what we will do is open up our website to anything you want. So have a peruse through, look at all the different scopes, and pick what you think would suit your rifle the best. However, here's our recommendation, and they did actually recommend the ED PRS to me, being that I'm using it as a PRS comp style rifle. I went through their website, I looked at a few different scopes and weighed up the pros and cons. I picked this scope mainly because it has the most range of clicks in it, so I get the most mils of elevation in adjustment out of the scope itself. There was one that was, you know, more powerful in zoom, but it gave me less ability to dial. Now, being that I'm shooting a 22 long rifle, I need to have a lot of dialing capability if I really do want to stretch out and do a bit of ELR, which is what I do want to do with this rifle. So that was a hell of a lot of preload just to get us into an unboxing video, but I felt like that was all necessary information for you to understand where I'm going with this project and where I'm going with the decision to get another DiscoveryOpt scope. Once again, with the standard DiscoveryOpt packaging, it all looks pretty good. I really do like their packaging, just the way it's set up. With these really thick foam, like that's going to get obviously posted internationally. It's not going to get damaged, you know, in the mail. Some other scope companies just put like a piece of foam around one end, a piece of foam around the other end, and throw all the other junk in the bottom of the box. I'm looking at U-Vortex, and you know, it's generally not the best. So what have we got in the box here? Obviously we've got all the documents. So we have our instruction manual, which You know, for a Chinese company, this instruction manual is generally pretty good. I think it's the same one they give in all the different scopes. It actually has grammatically correct English in it, which is a good start because a lot of Chinese companies don't even bother to do that. We have our data card. Now on our data card here, let's hold it up where we can see it. Now as you can see there, the total adjustment elevation about halfway down here is 36 mRad or 36 mils. So we have a hell of a lot of adjustment in our elevation, which is what I really wanted for a 22 rifle. I really needed to have that. I think the other one I was looking at only had like 22. And I cannot remember the name of that scope off the top of my head, but it was another one of the Discovery Optics scopes, which was like a 30 power or a 50 power or something retarded. That was the main thing I went for, was the 36 mils of adjustment. Now this is a 5 to 25. This is replacing another 5 to 25 on that rifle. So I'm not really gaining anything in terms of magnification, but what I am gaining is I think the glass quality and the glass clarity out of this Discovery Optics should be a bit better than the scope that's currently on it. Now, I'm comparing that between my 5 to 30 and the 25 power that's on my 22 currently. You know, whether it actually does, we're gonna have to do head to head and do some testing, but I feel like this is probably gonna give me a slight edge in optical clarity. Quality control checking, so all of the shit that they check and tick off and sign, which is pretty standard for Discovery Optics stuff, which I think is a cool thing. There's another card here for checking other stuff. So they do a fair bit of checking before they send them out. We have a Discovery Optics branded chamois. That wasn't in any of the other ones that have been sent, so that's cool. One thing I do notice down here is this has not been in any of the other previous scopes, is we actually have a lens cleaner. Actually really nice, a lens cleaning brush. Does it have a thing on the back? Oh, it does. It has the little scrubber doobie on the back. So that's actually really cool. I haven't seen that in any of their scopes before. That is a good addition, because one thing that will wreck your scopes in short order is using something like your t-shirt or a rag or a piece of 4B to clean your lenses. Now, if you wear specs like me, you know all about that. What else have we got here? Let's go to this piece here. What's this? Oh, cool. So that's goes on your zoom ring. So it's your little zoom ring lever. That's really hefty. I was not expecting it to be as big and heavy as that. That's cool. All right, let's put that back in this little home there. Yeah, lens cap. Look, I don't like the lens caps that come with Discovery Optics scopes. That's where they do cut some, you know, they do save some money by giving you really crap lens covers, but that's all right. I don't use lens covers anyway. Here we have our rings. So these rings are pretty cool. I do like that they actually give you all of the information like marked on here. So this one's made of 6061, it's 34 mil, and it's 1.26 inches in height. And then obviously they do make a set that's 7075, which would be the more expensive ones. Now, if you look at these rings, you can see how like they're machined on the inside. You don't get that out of, you know, expensive rings, let alone something that's, you know, as quote unquote cheap as these. They also have the torque values printed on where the screws are. So that way you don't ever, you know, you have to look at the manual, you might be out in the field doing it. It's all printed, so you can just go and torque it down if you need to. So I think that's really cool. These do look different and a hell of a lot better than the rings that were in the kit when I got the 5 to 30. And that's why on that scope, I'm actually running MDT rings, and I run MDT rings on my 22 currently with the other scope that's on it as well. So this might end up making its way across to that gun because they look pretty bloody good, but we'll test them out and see how they go. All right, so down on this side, we have a little sight adjustment tool. I think it's very similar to what Zerotech currently offers with their scopes. They give you a little tool. So that's cool. It's got a little hole in it so you can put it on your keys. I think that's a cool little feature. So you're never going to lose it. You're always going to have your car keys with you at the range, so you might as well stick that on your car keys. I'll probably actually stick that to my chamber flag that I have for the 22, and that will work really well. Ah, I did not know it came with that. That is super cool. So we have a scope leveling kit. I'm not going to show you too much about this. I'll do another video when I actually mount the scope. But essentially, there are a few different methods of leveling a scope. I use machinist parallels, and then there are a few companies now making essentially a set of adjustable parallels to do the exact same thing. I was actually going to go and buy a set because I mount a lot of scopes, and using a machinist parallel is not really, I mean, it's not going to damage the parallel, but the parallels are for doing precision machining. I'd rather keep them in the machine shop and not bring them across to the gunsmithing room. That's cool. I actually did not know that came with that, and I'm actually very stoked. So I'll do a mounting video for this, you know, series that we're doing on this gun, and we'll feature this. I'll show you the other method. I'll show you a few different methods of how I mount a scope, but this will get featured in that. Now this is a hefty boy. So we've got our sunshade there. That's cool. I don't usually use sunshades, but that's cool. That is a hefty hefty scope. I'm going to pull that lens cap off because I don't use them. That is absolutely huge. It's heavy too, and I think from memory on the specs it's like well over a kilo, so it's not exactly a light scope, and that's probably the one knock that I have for Discovery Optics stuff is their scopes are stupid heavy. I thought Vortexes were heavy, but these are even heavier, but for what I'm using it for, the weight doesn't really matter. In fact, I kind of want that gun to be a bit more heavy so it sits down on the bench a little bit better. We've got a little lens cap at the back there just to protect her, and that went straight on the floor. So diopter ring. As per usual with the other stuff, it's smooth, but it's not stiff. I really hate stiff zoom rings and focus rings. All right, that one's a little bit stiffer, but just from using it a couple of times, it's already started to wear in, so that's cool. Obviously, that's where our little maneuvery goes. Oh, and that's heaps easier. Cool. A bit of focus, please. All right, so that makes it a hell of a lot easier to turn that. So that'll be staying on for sure. All right, so we have our illumination. I do like the fact that how most people should do scopes, or how, in fact how everyone should do scopes, off in between each power setting, so you can go from off to whatever power setting you want in one hit. We have our parallax adjustment ring. That is super smooth. You can see how fast I'm turning that, but it's not so, you know, you wouldn't accidentally bump that, but that's going to be cool from easily changing to the different ranges I'm shooting. Goes down to 25, which is the smallest I'll be shooting. Boom, you're at 50. Boom, you're at 100. All the way out to 500 or infinity. I'm probably not going to be shooting infinity with a 22. I might shoot 500 though. We'll see how that goes. All right, so I'm going to have to play around with this. I believe this has a zero lock system in it, but we'll have a play with that. But have a listen to the clicks. Just like all their other scopes. Sounds awesome. Windage. And as you can see there, the clicks are 0.1 mil per click. So they're tenths, which is cool. It's pretty standard. Big old housing there. And a big old objective lens. So there you go, guys. That's the unboxing video on the Discovery Optics 5-25 ED PRS. You're going to be seeing this scope a few more times, I dare say. Next time you'll see this is when I do a mounting video onto that rifle. And then you're probably going to see me shooting that gun at the range. Now, in the background, I have been doing some ammunition testing with some competition 22LR ammo. So there'll be a video coming out about that and how that all went a little bit down the track. So stay tuned for some more 22LR content. It is going to be happening. You know, I just got to fit it in with, you know, all the other things that are going on in my life and all the other fucking content things that I really want to pump out for you guys. So it's been a busy year. We're going to keep cracking on until we get to the end of the year, which is just around the bloody corner. Now, if you're not subscribed, please hit the subscribe button. I don't usually ask that, but I'm nearing 10,000. I'd really like to tick over 10,000 by the new year. That'd be fucking fantastic. Anyway, I'll catch you all in the next video. Hooroo.